This is the Indy 11 Coaches Show podcast, brought to you by your Central Indiana Ford dealers.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 4 of the Indy 11 Coaches Show podcast. I'm Grant Shoulders, and beside me as always is Indy 11 head coach Sean McCauley. Today we're catching up on the past month or so of the boys in blue, and as well as looking forward to the month ahead. Sean, first, how have things been around the training ground?
Yeah, good. You know, the players are good. They come in, put maximum effort into the work, and you know we give this best in the games. Sometimes we get the reward, sometimes we don't. But you know we're going pretty well at this moment in time.
Awesome. First thing I wanted to bring up was our home form. Something I feel like I ask about frequently to you, but since the beginning of preseason, you were very big on not only taking advantage of those home games, but doing it from the start. And we've done that, 4 wins and 1 draw in 5 league matches at home. With 3 of our 4 next matches being at home, is there a difference in play that you've seen from our team that in front of the supporters versus away?
No, not really. And for the record, we shouldn't have got a draw. You know, that was an illegal goal that they scored, so that would have been 5 wins, which would have been nice, but not to be. I'm sure we'll go through a run where maybe we get a bit of luck and get over the line and win a game we shouldn't have done, and likewise we'll probably, you know, put everything into it and don't get the reward. What I said at the start of the season still stands true. We need to win home games. You know, that's the bottom line. You know, we know that we have a responsibility to win as many games as we possibly can to get in the playoffs and try and win a trophy. But I think that responsibility deepens when you're doing it in front of your own supporters. I think we've had some good results away from home as well, especially when we've come back from behind and we've taken the lead and sort of hung on. But, you know, when you're away from home, it's difficult to win games. And we've just got to continue that home form. And if we do and we continue, you know, through the hot summer months of it and then grind it out at the end, we know that the last 5 games that we play, 4 are away from home. So we've got to get enough points at home, you know, to have us a good chance to get in the playoffs.
Speaking of the starting 11 throughout this season, there hasn't been a ton of change personnel-wise. Logan has stepped up into that starting role since Hayden White's injury. And now we've seen for the past few weeks Chiza come back into that 9 spot. Would love to hear your insight on kind of specifically with the attack, your insight on how you choose three to 4 players and how you organize them. You
know, it's really good for, you know, Logan to come in place of Hayden. You know, 'cause at the start of the season, you know, he wasn't making the 18, but that's what training's for, you know, and that's what the squad's for. You know, we don't carry big numbers. We don't, you know, really want to go in and recruit somebody that we don't know about, you know, just to fill a hole. We've got players here. Once their number gets called, they have to perform. I think Eddie's come in and done that on a couple of occasions where he's coming off the bench and scored, and now we've got Dylan Singh has done the same thing. So that breeds the competition for places that we need, and when we're looking at the attack, you know, we take into account the opponent, but we also take into account our form. And, you know, strikers generally want to be on a streak of goals, so we've got to take that into account, but the performances of everybody outside of the 11 is really important, because they're the ones that if we do get an injury, they're going to have to go and play and try and win games for us.
Nice. Feels like, from a viewing perspective, it does feel like there has been a shift in pace of play from early on in the year to now, whereas early on, more passing forward and keeping pressure versus maybe a little slower build-up now. Has that been a conscious shift, or is that a game-to-game kind of thing?
Well, you know, football's pretty simple. You have 3 moments, really. You've got when you have the ball, when they have the ball, when nobody has the ball. When nobody has the ball, we'll still run and fight and tackle and transition, and we're really good on quick transitioning forward, and we've been really good on transitioning to defence and pressing high. Our game over the last 3 or 4 games has probably been a little bit slower in the attack, because you can only play what the opponent gives you. And if the opponent gets behind the ball, especially in the last game when they had, you know, a man less, you know, you've got to probably have a slow build-up. You don't want to be forcing the ball into numbers where they've got more than you. So, yeah, we've probably looked at that, you know, more so probably in the Fort Wayne game, you know, like I said, against Lexington when they had a man sent off. we need to manipulate the ball a little bit more, but overall the players are really well versed. We work on it in training. They're knowledgeable that, you know, whatever the opponent gives you, try and take it. And if they want to try and beat us on the inside with more numbers, then we'll play it down the outside. If they want to try and double up on the outside, then we have to manipulate the ball on the in and try and cut through the heart of the team. If we have to go direct, we'll go direct. If the opponent's pushing us and pressing high, then the spaces in behind, we'll play that. So we've got to be ready for whatever it gives us, but generally we want to focus on what our strengths are, and we know that we've got a lot of pace out wide with Bruno and Loic, and you know, if we can manipulate the ball to them, get the fullbacks backing it up, then we'll be in good shape to put crosses in the box. And supporters want to come and they want to see the ball around the goal, and they want to see attempts at goal. So when we're putting crosses in and we're getting numbers in the box, then it's quite exciting, but it also gives us a realistic chance of scoring a goal and winning the game.
Nice. Aside from obviously Pat and Hayden, who injuries look to be more long term, a couple of guys we've had on the injury list for an extended period of time, Charlie and Mo. Just wanted to know if you wanted to share any update on them or their timelines.
Both are pretty close in coming back. You know, Mo will join the training, you know, this time, probably later on this week. Charlie still has a little bit to go, but we're hoping before we have the break that we can get him some time on the field for training for sure. And if we can get him into a game, then that's good as well.
Gotcha. Rhode Island's coming to town this weekend. They're coming off of a big win against Brooklyn and a draw to a great Rowdies team. Just your thoughts on them? Yeah,
they're a good team. You know, you look at their momentum over the past couple of years when they came into the league. You know, they spent a lot of money. They've built the stadium. They've got the training ground coming. They've got, you know, the players that a lot of teams in this league would like to have in their own team. You know, and they're finding that balance now to where they're being a bit more consistent in the players who are playing. So it's becoming a bit more of a rhythm for them. We know that if we want to be in the playoffs, you know, I'm not guaranteeing one way or the other, but they're a team that at the start of the season you would say is probably, you know, going for the playoffs and higher in terms of what they want to achieve. And even though they drew against Tampa, I thought they had the better of it, better of the chances, better of the play. And obviously they beat Brooklyn, scoring goals, so they're going to come in here really confident. That said, I don't think any team in the league, you know, really says and looks at the fixture against Indy 11 and says, oh, well, that's a good, easy one for us. So we're difficult to play against. Every team that comes in knows it's going to be a tough match. We need to match, you know, that energy that we get from the crowd. We need to go at them and compete with them. And then what will be in the end will probably be a little bit of quality from either of the two teams to open it up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game for sure.
We're practically a third of the way through the season right now, sitting at 5th on the table in our conference. Just kind of taking the season from the beginning of preseason to now being 9 or 10 games in. Just kind of what's your overall outlook on the squad? I
think there's 7 teams that probably want to be in our position in the league of 12, 13. You know, we're in a better position than a lot of the others. I think it can change really, really quickly. You know, you can drop. I think we have a game in hand, and if we win the game in hand, we go second. So it changes from one week to the next. What we've got to make sure is we keep focusing on making the playoffs, because make the playoffs, you get a chance to win a trophy. If you don't make the playoffs, then obviously that's puts you out of the running for any success for this season. Success for us this year will be around, you know, making sure that the players fight and give everything for the jersey. And you know, as it stands now, we're doing that and we're getting the reward of the results, and we just need to continue and maintain that identity what we have in the team.
Awesome. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, all good for me.
Sweet. That has been it for Season 3, Episode 4 of the Indy 11 Coaches Show podcast. As always, go check out shop.indy11.com, and we will see you guys next month.